Hello, my lovely spectators. Diddy here. Welcome to my studio. So today is the 30th, and it is almost the end of August, and the 3 Under 30 collaboration from Seven Plaza and Crafty by Tony. So I have another little project or trio of projects that I'm going to try to do in the 30 minutes. Now, yesterday's video, if you haven't seen it, you might want to go look that up. But I made these little journals out of composition notebooks. So I wanted to come up with something else that I needed to do, was planning to do, see if it's doable in 30 minutes. Now, these guys are the focus, right? We all get packaging. This is what my ink comes in. It's a cute little box. I have a bunch of them stacked up on the side. I took the inks out, put them in another bag, and I have these boxes now. So what I want to do is I want to make 3 journal covers. I know, that's crazy. 3 journal covers in 30 minutes using these boxes. And no, I have not prepped because I did not cut off the pieces that we don't need. So that's part of this process too. And using some materials that I haven't seen used very much, and as well as some fabric, which we all have seen used to make covers for journals. So I don't know how finished they'll get, but I'm throwing an idea out. I don't think there'll be much decorating that I could do in 30 minutes, but we're going to get this started and we're going to get as far as we can. So I have a pair of scissors. I have some double-sided tape, which is a 1-inch wide. Do not have glue. The 3 boxes, my clock, and yeah, I have my covers. So I'll bring them in as we go through them. I also, because we are dealing with have pinking shears on the side, maybe I'll have to switch to a ruler and a knife for speed. I'm not sure. We shall see. These are relatively new, so they should be sharp and everything. Anyway, let's start the clock with the disassembling of these guys. Where is it? Start. Okay, you can see my clock there. Hopefully it's visible. So when these boxes come, you know, most of the time we put them to recycle. Maybe you pop these out like this. And, you know, if you have never thought about it, trust you, this is just a side note, which why I'm wasting the time there, is turning them inside out and redoing them, and you have yourself a nice little brown box that you can, you know, use to store whatever items. So I'm going to open them both up. We're just popping out the side panels. We don't worry if they get a little bent or cracked, because we're going to be cutting off most of that. And yes, so let's get this one off and off, okay? So if you look at the box, we see that we have a built-in and very nice cardboard. So we have a built-in situation here where we have the back and front, or front and back, and the spine. Perfect. If you want to keep this part and that part so that you can actually keep the journal from closing, that's another option. I'm not going to do that today. So let's just cut off the bits that we do not need. So we're not going to need what is past the edge of one side, okay? We're not going to need the top here. And I know that's a little divot. I haven't thought about how that's going to work, but we'll see what that looks like. This part here. Okay, we're going to cut off that. Okay, and then we're going to cut off this side so that we all have just a book. Okay, so yes, I probably should have prepped this because I have to do this 3 times over, but that's okay. Okay, so okay. Alright, so all of this can go to trash or something. I'm not keeping them. I don't use this kind of thick cardboard to do any kind of other things with, and they're all very narrow. So that's one. Okay, again, not sure how we're gonna handle this little situation here, but we'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be all good. Okay, so let's clean that up a little bit. So that's one. Let's do the second. Let me see if my knife makes my job faster, because I felt like that took too long. So because we have the divot already, we can just, oh yes, much faster. we can just go straight down there. Beautiful. Yes, let's do that moving forward. Okay, and again over here, because this is already folded, we're just gonna follow down. Beautiful. I should have done that from the beginning. And over here, same thing. We're going to go straight down. I could clean that up in a minute. Okay, so let's see. I'll clean that up from the other side. And I don't need to do anything to this because I'm going to be taking it off. Okay. All right. Now, if you guys do any of these subscription boxes, beauty boxes, etc., I mean, these boxes are the standard go-to for most stuff that comes, where they have this, you know, you fold it up and you get your box. So it's possible that you have a box that you can easily turn into a really nice, sturdy journal because, like I said, it doesn't, just going to take it off, right? There we go. And let's do the final one over here with this, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this, and it's like, oh, she's doing journal with whatever. Well, because, you know, I'm using things that I haven't seen used before to make covers, except for fabric, right? But I want to see how that works along with using double-sided tape for the expedience of things. Now, right now I have the 1-inch double-sided tape, but, you know, they come in all different kinds of inches. I know that they come in 3 inches, 4 inches wide, and I have some of that. But I'm only going to use the 1-inch today, just to give ourselves a challenge and see how that all goes. Okay, so this one looks good. This one is good, and this was the scissor one, so I'm going to just clean this up a little bit by taking off a sliver and like that. Okay, now, does that mean that this thing is all crooked? No, because, you know, it's a junk journal, so having a little irregularity, we're gonna see that, right? If it bothers you, like that just did a little bit to me, right? Here we go. There's our cover. Now I will put a piece of tape here, just a regular piece of tape. I'm gonna use some masking tape, just because it does move a little bit, but just that's it. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Okay, and the same thing on this one here. Just gonna put some masking tape there so it's not flippy flopping around, and another piece here. Okay, so let's see, what shall we do first? Let's do one. Let's get rid of this little bit right here. It's a little bit of edge. Okay, now what I want to do is I will probably put this on the inside, right? Only because the cover is visual, and on the inside I might put pockets. So if anything comes through the medium that I'm gonna put as the book cover, then that's gonna be less hard to hide when it comes to this, right? So the first thing that I'm gonna pull is, because I think these are gonna be super fast and quick, is some of this. Now, what is this? Well, I went to Ollie's looking for those fabulous prices that people were talking about, and I did find a few good things. I have since gone back another time, and then I went to one that's really far from me, and, you know, I found some things, but this is not a regular occurrence. But anyway, that said, this is like a burlap, fake burlappy, that hard, like, it's a runner to walk on, basically. So that's what I want to cover this with, right? So I did take quite a bit out, right? I do have a lot out, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some tape on the outside and on the inside. So we're going to I'm going to just put it right down the center, right here for now. Right over here on this edge. I don't think this one is in screen. All the way, and then all the way here on this edge. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be my outside, so I'm going to turn this over and put it in the center. I can cut away whatever I can cut away, and I'm going to do that, but for right now I just want to get this down. So let's take off the tape. Let's see how this goes. These are just ideas, and maybe it's going to tank. I don't know. you know. We're all looking for different ways and different things to make into journals. So I'm looking for different coverings for journals rather than the usual paper and or fabric, or just leaving the cover of a book, which is, you know, fine as well. Okay, so this got up a little bit here and this one here. Okay, so now I'm gonna just take it. This does have, and doesn't have, but does kind of have like a flow to it. So I'm gonna try to be as straight as I can with that straight edge up there. Plop this in the middle. Okay, put that down first, bring that out, and bring this out. Okay, so let's see how that looks on the side, right? So can I fold it like this? Definitely can. And I could fold it like this. Now it probably will need a closure at some point in time, because it does want to stay open a little. Well, not really, but you know, you will need a closure probably for this. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to put up and put up and put up and put up. Now most people will cut off this. I want to kind of see how it's gonna look if I have it nicely done. You know, I think I like that. It's not that thick. If it was a super thick, how much thicker could it be? If it was super thick, then you would have a problem. So I'm gonna put a piece of tape this way, this way, this way, and this way, just so that I could grab the corners. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this tape off. I'm going to bring this guy in here. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make this look like a nice corner here, right? Like that. I'm going to take this off here, do the same thing. Kind of like having that look kind of nice, right? And lucky for us, it does take a little bit of a bend, so that's good. That'd be good. And I'm going to bring this one over here. Okay, like that, and this one over here, like so. Okay, so it's gonna hold those in place. Okay, now I'm also gonna want to go up like this, and I do like how it makes a pretty decent nice corner, so I'm gonna do that, but I think I'm gonna do the pointy pieces first. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this one up. Okay, and looking at that, I'm gonna need some tape right here. I'm gonna put some tape. Now I know that probably thinking is gonna bring some bulk. Yeah, I could feel it, but I'm not too worried about it, because again, we're gonna be packing this up with so much journaling stuff later. Now I don't think that's gonna really matter. Okay, this one too, I'm gonna bring that one up. Put a little piece of tape here. Okay, and do that. And then with these guys, the same thing. Put those corners in and bring this up. I think with this one, I'm going to add a piece of the double-sided tape, make my life a lot easier for it to snag onto. And yes. Okay, and then I'm going to bring that up like that. Okay, and another piece right here, and we have one cover done. Now the inside, of course, probably needs to be finished. I mean, it's going to need to be finished. But right now, I think that I'm going to call this little project done, because I'm just showing you another thing. Look how cute. I like these little things here. So what you can do is put a piece of fabric here, put a piece of fabric here, not fabric, this piece of thing over here as well. And then you will have it nice and complete, and pick out your front side. So, right, it's a little loose, but as you put other things on here, I think it would work out really well. So that is number one. Okay, so we have one project, one covered thing there. The next one is another thing that I haven't seen much people use either. And maybe they think that it's kind of like a cheat, and maybe not. But there's so much contact paper and wallpaper out there that I decided I had some wallpaper that I had used to back my bookshelves. And this could be used for like a nice botanical garden. So I'm going to use this to cover the book. So let's talk about how we do this to our best strategy. I'm lifting one side. I know you can't see because I'm off the thing, because I want to get this started in a nice even manner. Okay, so that we have a good portion of it started, but we don't want to take off the whole entire thing. I think for any time you're using contact paper and you want to take off the whole entire thing, you're going to have problems. I want to see. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down. Okay, I think it's more or less straightish. Okay, only part of it is on here, so I'm going to make sure that that part is nice and smooth, so you could take out any bubbles that you see right away, right? Before you get into like the long wig process. Okay, I got a couple of bubbles in here that want to fight with me, and we don't have time for that. Then you, from the back, you start to slowly take out, well, my contact paper was also very wrinkly, so you will have to excuse me on that. If you get a nice fresh roll, you wouldn't have. Okay, now we have the indent for the spine. Take a little bit more. We go past the spine. We do the other indent for the spine, and we keep going. Okay, as we go, we're gonna have to lift this up. That's so we get stuck, and like that, smoothing it out until we have covered the entire thing. Now, please do not judge my process. Like I said, this paper is rather old, and I just had to have it, and I said, oh, using contact paper, that's interesting. And I also have some interesting little tidbits in reference to that. So now if I turn it over, right, it's covered. Now what's good with this is that we can also just go over and fold over the edges, right? With this one, I think I am going to cut out the little triangle. So a little bit of a snip towards there, not all the way. And a little bit of a snip here. Okay, to get out a little triangle piece. And then we do the same thing on all four. A little bit of an angle in. A little bit of an angle in, and we got this one. I'm just trying to stick it off to the side over here. Yeah, and then this one here, again a little bit in. And what's good is that it's longer. We can make it as long as we want. We're probably going to get to cover a lot more of the interior, and again, you can add whatever little pieces on the inside that you want to. A little bit more in, and then one last one so that we can call this one somewhat done. Okay, so I would take the flaps on the sides, I would bring them in, again placing them and making them nice and flat. Turn it around, do the same thing here, placing that on the inside. Okay, and then with this one, I'm going to make sure that this goes in just a little bit on the corners, and then we're going to bring up the sides so we have a nice sharp corner. And again, my apologies for wrinkled old contact paper, but it's an idea and it's a process. So okay, yeah, you don't want to rush it like I am right now, because look what it did. But again, if that doesn't bother you, because you can say to yourself, hey, it's handmade, hey, it's a junk journal, then all means, whatever. It's still good. It's, we're crafting here. Okay, so then this goes there. All right, so now we've got our second one done. If we have a little piece sticking up, we can give it a little cut, take a little bit off. Okay. Of course, my hands are shaking now. And we have another journal. We could decide what's the front and what's the top, what's the back. So, again, I know that there's bubbles. I'm rushing to show it to you, but do the process that I said a little by little. This is going to have bubbles regardless because this is really old contact paper. But I will say, you see how these leaves are there? If you want to use the contact paper as a way to add some depth to this, what you could do is stack a couple of pieces of cardstock together, place a piece of scrapbook paper on it. Let's say, for example, if you had a whole bunch of cardstock you wanted to do. Let me see if I can just model this for like a second. It's not going to be pretty. Okay, let's just say we stack this up, right? And we're going to put this here. Maybe we stack up 3. And then you can cut the shape of the sleeve, in this case, right? Out here. And then wherever that was on your paper, you can add it and add some depth. And it'll give it texture and height. So that's another thing that you could do, right? I don't think this is the matching one. Well, you'd have to match your patterns, but that's my little side note. Okay, so contact paper has that adhesive built in. You got this new Walker paper, right? And this, which we're going to be able to cover up later. And that's the second little journal project there. And the third one is going to be with the fabric. So I've used this fabric in another iteration before. This might be a little bit too much fabric. I might need to cut it down a slight bit. Let me see. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we will roll with it. And we will just need to cut it down a little bit. Yeah. All right, so we will need to just maybe cut it down a little bit. So we can use this as the outside, or we could use that as the outside. I personally find this very dull, so I want to put this as my outside. So since this is already naturally folding and it's going to cover so much, I'm just going to leave it like that. But I am going to put tape on here because I don't need it to be stuck, like super duper stuck. But I need it to be stuck well enough. There could be some movement. And I may want to stitch something to the front. I maybe want to put a bulb clip or something, or a safety pin with a dangle in the front of it. Who knows? So let's just put a little bit of tape like that. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is, of course, like we did before, is to attach this down, right? So what I was doing before was I was seeing how far this could go, right? And it could go like up to here, right? Yeah, let's do that. Is that up to there? Okay, there. There we go, up to there, okay? And then this one, we know, pressing it down, we could go up to here. They're a little off, but that's okay. We can adjust for that. All right, so the fabric is being held by a double-sided tape. I'm going to add more double-sided tape in here up to where the thing is, a lot more than before because it's fabric. Okay, so a lot of people are using, I'm worried about like when using the glue, that the glue is going to seep through and it's going to cause like a stain or something like that. So I thought about, let me try to see what would happen if we use the double-sided tape. So besides being a project and discussing why I'm doing this craziness, there's a reasoning behind it, and I'm trying to learn, and hopefully you all and we all will try this out, maybe learn something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so it's a little crooked. Can I lift this up? See, that tape is pretty good. For argument's sake, I'm lifting it up, even though I didn't want to do that, but I want it to be straight. Me not being straight is because I'm limited to the space that I have. I'm literally, my studio is my desk in my living room. All of my craft supplies are in bags and stuff around me. So, okay, now we're going to take the tape off of one side. Now, it may be that you say, oh, you know, maybe you want to put this up first and do the corners and stuff. You can. I'm just going to show a little idea or a little something that I think might be cute. with the fabric and the pinking shears. Okay, so let me get all this tape off. And I will need to put a couple more pieces. Okay. So some of us like to have the shabby look on our books. And maybe the book, whatever the theme is, calls for that kind of a look. So we will leave some fabric sticking out or whatever the case is. So what I'm going to do is I want to put a little bit of tape off and onto the fabric. Not a lot, just like an eighth or quarter of an inch at the most off of the edge of the book. Right, so I'm going to have that. And I'm going to need to put 2 more. Okay. Okay. I think that might be a little bit too much, but we shall see. And a little bit here. Oof. Did I get some? Yes. Okay. I think so. Let's take off those. Okay. Now I'm using this to anchor the fabric so that I could do my little thing to add a little bit of design to this guy going in here. Okay. So we'll see what happens. See if it looks pretty or not. But you know what? We try things. We try things. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to bring this up nice, tight to the edge. And I'm going to flatten it down. Now, I do realize I'm going to press in here and I'm going to press in here. That's why I wanted a little bit of the hangover. Right? I do realize that I have some there. We can attach another piece in a minute. Okay? Then the same thing on this side. Okay? We're going to, you know what? Yeah, we're going to do that too. We're going to press it down. And we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to press against the sides where we have that extra little overhang of tape. Okay, now the tape is holding really well, in my opinion. So we have this little journal book, right? So now we have to get rid of the excess. So first of all, now with the pinking, I'm just going to get rid of this. This is the official seam of the fabric itself. It's very, very thick. It's got that extra sewn in part. So I'm going to just get rid of it because I need a little bit more flatness. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pinking shears, right? And I'm going to add a decorative edge by going across edge of the paper, the binder. But it's not going to separate because double-sided adhesive is there to hold the 2 pieces of fabric together. So I can create this decorative fabric edge without having to worry. Now, if you worry and you sew, or you worry and you want to use some glue, by all means do that. Right? So look, we have this cute little pinking edge on the top. Right? Okay, there we go. So we're going to do the same thing. Let me press this a little bit better. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing down here. Go beyond where that tape would be. Cut the fabric to create that little ruffly edge. Wow, this fabric is super thick. Okay, there we go. Okay, and there we have our journal with our lovely pink edge. Okay, now in the center, since I already have pieces of this, I have this bigger piece right here. So what I could do is I could take another piece from here. Okay. So this one might get like finished to add in here. Let's see. Take a little bit so we have the pinking on the inside. There we go. And let's clean up this pinking down here. It looks a little weird. Okay, and it will hang off. So then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put more double-sided tape here. and double-sided tape over here. And after we do that, let's make sure that's good. Yep, that's good. We're going to take the tape off. Oh, come on. Take this tape off. There we go. This wants to just give me a hard time. Give me a hard time. Okay, and then on the middle, why not? Because we are going to have to sew signatures in here, unless you do the elastic band. Which for this one, I think I might sew this in when I get to it. We're going to take our little piece. Okay. Now, this is where the seam is. I'm just going to put it because it doesn't matter that it's not exactly where the bend is, right? Because look, we got this little bit here, and this is a little longer. Now, there's more tape here. If this bothers, then you know what? You go get your other sized tape that you have that's a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, right? Good to have your supplies around you. And you go in here and you add another piece, just a collé flat, okay? Because that's what we are. Crafters, paper crafters, junk journalers, whatever. We roll with it, right? We play with paper. We incorporate other elements, and we're going to just do it as we go. Do it as we go. Okay. I got a minute left to be called done. There we go. There we go. All right. So this one is done. Of course, you're going to be able to add. So you see that little bit of movement? You could get your little pins in there if you wanted to put something on there, right? You decide up or down, which one is your front, which one's your back, right? And a little bit you don't quite like, you can just, you know, whatever. If you want to fray it out some more, you can. Okay, so if that's the third one. There we go. This one's more finished. So we got our third little project, our third little journal. So you've got fabric, you've got unconventional, what is this called again? Walkway runner, table runner fabric, and we got contact paper. So 3 ways to do your journals. Hopefully to give you some more variety and give you some more inspiration. So I did it. I would be able to add more things. So for example, you could add, you could do something with the fabric, right? Sew it up, whatever. I could even add this fabric to this journal, right? It just happens to go very nicely with it. Like I said, you could add and layer up these guys with a nicer pattern. Take a piece that has a pattern on the front, stock it up on some cardstock, and then you can glue it on top and you'll have that depth and texture. So that's an idea with that. You know, you can add pockets to the front. You can do whatever it is you need to do, lace, etc. and whatnot. Where's that other piece of thing I had? Here we go. Like this one. This one was going to go in here to finish her off. So I could technically have finished off maybe 2 if I stopped yapping for a moment. But I didn't get to do that. And the same thing here. Just a little more piece of construction paper, but like contact paper. But I said this was leftover from another project. So it just sparked an idea. So I will probably rip this off and find some good contact paper to use. But I hope that I inspired you. I hope that you enjoyed my shenanigans here. Oh, look, I have this. You can put this on there. Wouldn't that cute? And I do want to thank you all for visiting the channel. There's one more day. I'm going to try to think of something else to come up with to kind of bring to the table here. Or maybe just craft up something. I'm not sure. But if you've liked and you're visiting for the first time, consider subscribing, sharing with your friends, liking the content, throw me a comment, tell me if I'm bonkers for doing this, but other than that, I do appreciate all the new subscribers that I've gotten over the course of the month, and I'm going to keep bringing out content. I'm not sure what's happening in September, but there will be stuff from me, so please be on the watch out or ring the little bell and you will know what I'm doing. So again, I will just say this, that crafting is not a spectator sport. So, let's get our hands dirty, right? And all gluey and sticky and inky and all that stuff. So until next time, ciao, ciao, bye.